Let's start off with a healthy starting budget. So a helpful guideline to consider when you're establishing a starting budget is the value of one client. But for example, if your average client brings in $5,000, then your initial marketing budget should be set at this amount. Therefore, for the first 3 months, your total starting marketing budget should be around $15,000. And this is pretty much like a client value centric approach to ensure that your marketing budget aligns with your law firm's revenue generation. Doesn't align with where you are right now or how much money you can afford. It aligns with however much business you want to generate. This correlation helps maintain a healthy financial balance while pursuing ambitious growth through marketing. Here are 5 important questions that we need to answer. In that first space, please fill this out right now. 5,000, 10,000, whatever you can number, go ahead and write that down. Second question is, we want to do this based on a 3-month timeline. Okay, not 1 month, not 6 months, not 12 months, 3 months. I think it's a good sweet spot. The question is, how many clients do I want in my first 3 months? Be realistic, be practical, not based on 10, 20. Like whenever I hear those numbers, kind of think about, how many clients have I signed up in the past couple of months on average per month? And it's better to shoot a little bit higher than be conservative. Obviously, you don't want to make sure that's not doable. Not something that's achievable, but something that you strive for, where you'll be happy with that number. Third question is, how much is that number of clients worth to me in the first 3 months? Okay, so all you do is just multiply however much is an average value per client times how many clients you would like to have. Client is worth $5,000 and I want 9 clients. That number is $45,000. So question number 4, how much am I willing to spend to make this number that you just shared with me? And the way to do it is, ideally you want to spend up to 1/3 of the amount of the answer to question number 3. So let's just say Sarah said $100,000. Question is, how much money would you spend to make $100,000? Well, good guideline is you should be able to spend 1/3 of that money to make $100,000. So Sarah should be open to spending $33,000. So take that number, divide it by 3, and write that for number 4, the guideline. Not necessarily how much money we're going to be spending. We're just going to say we're willing to spend up to this amount. Now let's summarize what we just did. This means in my first 3 months, I'm willing to spend how much, which is basically your answer to number 4, to get this many number of clients in my first 3 months, which is your answer number 2. So you're taking the answer that you had from number 4 and the answer to number 2, putting in those blanks, and go ahead and also put that in the chat. This might be most important affirmation for you to have printed on your desk, printed, say it to yourself, and also put it in the chat. And I highly recommend printing this out and put it around you. In my first 3 months, I'm willing to spend $33,000 to generate 16 clients in my first 3 months. Now you're very clear on what your goal is, how many clients you would like to generate, and how much money that takes for you to be able to do that. If you do that, if you're willing to spend that much money, you're going to make 3 times more money. You want to do that. You want to spend that money all day long. If you want to scale your law firm consistently and predictably, you have to be willing and able to spend at least this much in your first 3 months of marketing in order for this to happen. Okay, this is a requirement. Without this, you cannot grow. It's 100% crucial to make data-driven decisions by tracking your 2 numbers. Number 1 is your cost per acquisition, how much it costs you to generate 1 client. You need to know that number for every source on a monthly basis, and customer lifetime value, aka how much money did I make per client on average. If your cost per acquisition costs you $1,000 to generate a client and your value of a client is $5,000, the return on your investment is this equation. Okay, try to understand this one. This one is however much money you make minus the cost divided by the cost times 100 to give us a percentage. So I was able to make $5,000, cost me $1,000. That's $4,000 of profit divided by the cost, which is 1,000 times 100. That gives me an ROI of 400% ROI. That means for every dollar I put in, I make $4 extra on top. And what we want to do, the rule of thumb is, we want to track this on a monthly basis for each source that we're generating or spending money on marketing. And if you see that our ROI is at least 200%, then we want to increase our budget. Okay. If the campaign is working well, you want to reinvest the profits from the campaign back into the same campaign, investing more in your marketing. If your ROI is higher than 200%, this is the true definition of scaling. But let's move forward. Keep in mind that the key to a successful marketing campaign is hardcore tracking and 2, continual adjustment. Okay, you want to know on a monthly basis exactly what's going on and continue to adjust that very quickly. As you track your leads, conversions, and ROI, you will gain valuable data about what is working and what is not, again, based on specific traffic sources on a monthly basis. Use this information to adjust your strategy. If a certain ad or platform isn't delivering the results you want, don't be afraid to pivot. And these things change all the time. All the time. There's continuous things, trends that are happening. And that's the benefit of our program. Hopefully we're sharing this. By all means, these things hopefully will be insightful. Post it in my legal economy. Have you guys noticed the past couple months what do you guys think about this practice type? Again, whoever engages the most and is the most, seeking out the most information is the person who's gonna grow the most. So please, by all means, I encourage you to collaborate with each other. It's also important to keep an eye out on the legal marketing landscape. New platforms and marketing techniques are constantly emerging, and staying up to date will give your firm a significant competitive advantage. And if you just want to play the game, whatever the game happens to be. How do we do this? How do we track? Here it is. And I've shared this before. Super important. And this is my life. This is what I do all day long. Like looking at these numbers. Okay. Use the following tracking template for each of your clients' sources on a monthly basis. Okay. So whatever sources are you generating clients for, you do this on a monthly basis. First one is the cost, again, on a monthly basis. Let's just say you spend $3,000. It's more than that, but let's just say that's the cost. You need to know with clarity how many leads you generated. How do you track it? Usually, leads come in the form of leads being submitted somewhere and 2 phone calls. Let's just say we got 100 leads. Let's just say 60 contact form submissions and 40 leads, 40 incoming phone calls. Your cost per lead is just simply however much it costs divided by number of leads. Say for this is $30. And then how many clients I was able to generate from these 100 leads. Let's just say 10 clients. Something that I'm probably could also add in here is my conversion rate. Conversion rate is how many clients I signed up from those 100 leads. 10% conversion. Again, this formula is here. If you print this out, you could just take one of your top client sources and try to fill this out for it. And if you don't have any of this information, again, then it might be good important to go back to the drawing board to try to get that set up. Cost per acquisition is just the cost that it costs you divided by number of clients. Well, it cost me $3,000 to generate 10 clients. So that is, cost acquisition is $300. Most important number here on this document. Here, I'll simplify it. Next is kind of like your revenue. Essentially, what's your expected net attorney's fees that you expect to make off these clients, whether you may collect the money up front or if you will end up collecting, just make it approximate. These 10 clients are worth let's say $50,000 to me. And the last thing is revenue, which we said is the ROI, which is the revenue minus the cost divided by the cost. So $50,000 minus $3,000 divided by the cost divided by 3,000 times 100 gives the ROI. So 50,000 minus the 3,000 gives us 47,000 divided by 3,000 times 100 gives us a percentage of a ridiculously good ROI of 1,466% ROI, aka $1 in, $15 out. I asked myself, is this above 200%? Oh, it sure is. Much higher than 2%. In that case, next month I'm going to spend that much more. This is it. This is tracking 101.